Hello, Jigs and Ghouls, and it's a long time no see. So happy New Year! Hopefully, it won't be 2020 version 3. And starting this year, I did something I should have done years and years ago. I've read Robert Bloch Psycho, which, reading Psycho for the first time in 2022 is kind of, something you don't do if you're a horror fan, to be honest, because and the reason why I actually did it is because Psycho is such a cornerstone of horror. It's probably one of the most famous serial killer novellas, I guess. Definitely, the movie was very important in popularizing the concept of the serial killer. Of course, it's 2022, so I'll probably be a decade too late if I say that definitely the novella did and the movie did a lot to stigmatize mental illness and also transgender people, even though Norman Bates was not transgender exactly, I guess. He was psychotic or schizophrenic or something like that. But yeah, the reason why I haven't watched the movie or I haven't read the novella yet is pretty much the reason why everybody should have done that already, because the whole concept of Psycho, the whole idea, the story beats, certain story elements are very well known. We've all seen the scene from the shower, we've definitely seen parodies of it, so in the end of the day, reading this novella was like, yes, it was just a checklist. Yes, 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 yes. I know that even though I've never read it, and I've read similar things again and again. Because yes, it's a 1959 novella that's been done to death since then. So yeah, it was a novella with little to no surprises. And you know what, it actually takes away a lot of the things that made that novella important to begin with. It's yeah, I can say nothing more about it. It's classic, but it's a type of classic that it's so much part of the public conscience that there are no surprises there. I kind of missed the sardonic humor of Robert Bloch. I've read another novel of his, Stranger Eons, which is the final Cthulhu Mythos novel from Lovecraft's Inner Cycle, and some of his short stories. And yeah, once again, it was very well written. There was sardonic sense of humor, but it was very subtle. I really like the whole idea of how the protagonist is stealing the money and why she does that. It was a perfect deep dive into her psychology. And then she goes to the Bates Motel, and I have to say that people back in the 60s that read this novel without knowing about the movie definitely had a thing coming for the twist, because it was very well foreshadowed. Not foreshadowed, actually, there was a great red herring about Norma's mother, but then again, we live in 2022, so we know the real situation about Mrs. Bates, but the way everything is set up is very well done, and there's this suspicion until the end that maybe there's something supernatural in there, or maybe it's really the mother doing that, but then there's another revelation that shifts it, and it's a constant shifting red herring, which is something quite interesting. And I guess, yeah, the way it's done, it's pretty shocking for back then. I understand why Alfred Hitchcock didn't want to shoot this film in color, because it would be too shocking for that era, I guess. The way it's set up, it's very interesting. I like the characters of this novella quite well. They felt like real people with plausible motivations. So it's always a plus. It's not like, oh, the killer is insane and is leaving clues for the detectives to find, like so many serial killer thrillers do. No, it's like the killer kills because they're insane, and then someone else has to clear the scene of the crime and protect them. Until the big reveal in the end. that it's the same person with the split personalities and they have killed their mother because of their Oedipus complex, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there is nothing more to say about this novella. We all know the story, and that's the biggest problem with it. It was definitely very good for its era, but it's been done to death so many times that reading Psycho in 2022 is kind of moot. I'll try watching the movie at some point and probably be the same. That's the reason why I was never motivated to watch the movie up until now, which probably makes me a fake horror fan. Editing mic here, I'm really in no mood to get dressed and sit in front of the camera again, but I kind of forgot to say that yes, okay, this novella is outdated, but it's very important to modern horror for another reason. And if you have watched my Halloween short story videos, I've mentioned a couple of times because Psycho was such a success. It meant that Robert Bloch stories were very popular and were in publication in the dark era between the end of the pulp magazines like Weird Tales and the era of Stephen King. Actually, Robert Bloch was the reason why so many modern horror authors exist, like Stephen King or Richard Layman in the book My Favorite Horror Story. They both mentioned how the Robert Bloch story collections made them horror fans back then where there was nothing horror available. But nevertheless, that was my review of the novella. It's kind of a very short video, but you know what, I've been too busy since the end of last year, and yeah, I just, I said, alright, I should do a video. I didn't even bother to save for it, so yeah, I went home, right? So that was my review, and hopefully there'll be another video sometime in January, I hope. So yeah, thank you for watching. Stay spooky.